Good morning. It is Monday again, and I've had a million things on my mind for a video today. But the big thing, I guess, is you don't know who you're reaching. You don't know who's seeing what you're doing. And when I post videos, I don't think about post this for so-and-so so they'll see it, or I better not say that because so-and-so's gonna see this. I don't think about who's seeing it, like I hope that it reaches somebody and helps them. Jesus. I'm not even saying it. I'm just not even saying it. Trying to get me off task. I hope that I can help somebody. And honestly, I'm trying to encourage myself. Really, a lot of the stuff that I share is stuff that I tell myself. And I try to encourage myself. Because I don't come for money. I don't have no big last name. I'm not nobody no different or special than nobody else. And the devil will come with his lies and be like, well, you can't do that. You're not nobody. You're not nothing. You can't be nothing. And then I have to say, listen, God don't love them no more than he loves me. And that's the truth. Why not me? Why not you? But, back to the point, you really don't know who's watching you. And God's taught me that you may be an adult and you may be making content for adults, but kids are seeing what you're doing. And I own a bookstore, so I have kids, involved in what I'm doing, because we want kids to read, of course, and their imagination to go wild, and I want to help kids and get them books and stuff like that. But I was doing a live sale one time and I said something that I really wasn't thinking about, and it wasn't real bad or nothing, but it was not something you want to say to a kid. And I was thinking there was just adults watching me because adults were communicating with me. No, there was kids watching too. There was a few kids watching, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I had to fix it as best as I could while those kids was listening. And it was about the tooth fairy, so you can put that together. But I was like, oh my gosh. Well, the other day I got invited to a birthday party, and it was a little kid. It was a friend of mine that invited me to their kid's birthday party. It was just small kids. Well, Lord, it's hot. Turn that down. I walk in, and as soon as I walk through the door, I hear my name, Nikki, and this little girl's running up to me, and it's one of my other friends' little girl. She's running up to me and she hugs me, and I'm trying to, one arm hug her, because I have a box in my other hand, and she said, I see you on my mommy's phone all the time. And I was just kind of like that kind of struck me dumb for a minute, because I wasn't thinking about her watching my videos. But parents with their kids around, whatever you're doing, your kids know what you're doing. They're listening, they hear all this stuff, we just really don't know, who's watching. So, be mindful of that. And that really makes me think of you know, what you put out into the world. And I really try to be positive and encouraging, because there's so much negativity and so much bad in the world, you know. And I want to put out positive. I want to be, I make the joke about it, sunshine. I want to be sunshine. I want to share, you know. But I want to be myself too, you know. And that's the whole thing with the line of it, is being yourself, being true to yourself. And you have to accept that there's a lot of people that's not going to be in agreement with you. There's a lot of people that are not going to like what you're doing. They're not going to accept you. They're not going to like you. They're going to talk bad about you. Especially me being saved and me saying I'm a Christian. I don't even like saying that. I just like saying I'm saved, because of how being a Christian has been just completely like distorted, and all this crazy stuff, and just the crazy stuff the devil's done with it. I'm saved. I'm saved. I know Jesus. I'm not perfect, you know. And you say that, and immediately it's like, I don't know, people try to start nitpicking. But at the same time, me being a saved person, I expect more out of other saved people. You know, it is very disappointing when people who know Jesus treat you or act like they don't, you know. But in stuff we put out into the world, we don't realize who's seeing it, you know. And we really just have to do the best we can. But if I can encourage you and encourage myself, it would be to be who you are, be true to who you are, be yourself, and know that you're not perfect and you're growing and you're working, but work on yourself. And, you know, try to be encouraging to other people and not negative. You know, put out, you know, positive things into the world. And you might think, well, that's just not me being myself. It is being yourself. Like, it is not, we're not meant to be ugly and mean and, you know, mad and angry and having hate. That's not what we're meant to do. That's not being yourself. That's like Satan having his claws in you and, you know, wrecking your life and trying to wreck everybody that comes in contact with you. You know, our flesh, of course, it's going to be crazy, but Jesus coming into play, knowing him, like, that's love and you want to share it. But I thought of that and I'm like I had that happen and I was like, you know, I guess kind of like a little reminder of you really don't know who's seeing what you're doing. And I want to be encouraging, you know, and I want to be helpful. And I for sure would not want to, like, try to lead a kid, like, in the wrong direction or something like that. But I see stuff all the time and videos all the time of stuff that I'm just like, it makes me cringe. You know, and you're just like, but to each their own. You know, it takes all kinds, and we're in this together. We need to be good to each other and love each other, you know. We're definitely not all meant to be the same, but you may not think what you're doing is reaching anybody, but you really don't know whatever thing you're doing, even if you think it's just the tiniest, simplest thing. Just always smiling at your coworkers or something. Like, you really don't know how you're affecting people and what you're going to be remembered for. And I hope that we can all be remembered for something good. But keep that in mind. There's people watching you. There's people watching what you're doing. And you don't even know. You don't have a clue. You don't know where you're reaching. And you could help somebody. And I know I've shared this story before. I don't know if I've shared it here on TikTok or not, but I've shared the story before of how with my bookstore I ship books, and I've had people to, you know, buy books from me, and I ship them, and they'll message me with something like somebody saying I really needed the verse that was on there on the package, and I really appreciate that. And I sent an old magazine one time to somebody, and they said that's me on the cover of that when I was a little girl. Like, it was a really old magazine of like sewing or something, and it was clothing, and it had a little girl on a swing on the front of it. And that was that person that bought it. Like, they found it and they bought it from me. And they were so thrilled. And that just means so much when you can just give somebody something positive, you know. But I gotta go to work. Y'all get up and get after it today. Keep going. It does matter what you're doing. And you never know who you might be helping. God, how good it would be to help a little kid. Especially to me, to help a little girl. How great that would be. You just never know, you know, who's watching. But I'll see y'all soon. Have a great day.